Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The Hurricane Watch Team is here with your latest update on the tropics. Today, we're going to start off with talking about Tropical Storm Rick at the latest advisory from the National Hurricane Center. Currently, Tropical Storm Rick has maximum sustained winds of 45 miles per hour with higher gusts. Here's the latest satellite imagery. As you can see, a huge blob of convection right there, which again indicates that this storm is continuing to intensify. We'll also be talking about the impacts of Tropical Storm Rick to Mexico, talking about flooding, talking about storm surge, talking about how strong it's going to be. Possibly could be as high as a 90 to 100 mile per hour hurricane upon landfall. We'll also be talking about the potential of a tropical storm in the Mediterranean next week. Some models are saying Italy, other models saying Greece, and other models are saying northern Africa. So there's all these different models that are saying where it could go. Right now, we just gotta watch what it does and be very mindful of what it does. Right now, the storm that is expected to spawn that tropical disturbance is in the extreme western Mediterranean. It's being very sheared apart, and it is expected to make landfall in Africa. I haven't checked the latest models. Those are the models we're saying earlier today in my last update. Models showing that we're showing that it's going to make landfall and then move on into parts of south central Mediterranean Sea to produce a much stronger system. 45, 50, some were showing as high as 60 miles per hour. But right now, this is what we're looking at right here. With Tropical Storm Rick, about 45 mile per hour tropical storm. We may even see this up to 50 miles per hour by 10 p.m. That will be my very last video on that storm on the storm for tonight. Will be at 10 p.m. Central Time, which, my God, I'll be at 3 a.m. UTC time, or about 10 p.m. Central Time. I'm going to move this and slide this over here. No, it is not Saturday. I used UTC time because that is what all of the weather updates come out as, is in UTC time. I live in Central Time, which is currently 7 p.m. Central Time. So, there's that. Alright, let's get right into this and sort of talk about what we're looking at here. So, here is Tropical Storm Rick. As you can see, maximum sustained winds are at 40 knots, or about 45 miles per hour. The air pressure is continuing to drop down to about 1,003 millibars, moving to the west-northwest at about, 7 miles an hour? So again, Rick has strengthened a little bit more while moving westward, south of the coast of Mexico. So again, air winds about 45 miles per hour, 1,003 millibars. Continues to be a hurricane watch and a tropical storm watch. No tropical storm warnings are in effect. Hurricane warning and a tropical storm warning will likely be required tonight or tomorrow morning, portions of the current watch area. So I am very, very first I want to take a look and see what we have for the forecast track. So this is the latest forecast track from the National Hurricane Center. So again, a Monday afternoon, okay, Monday afternoon is when the storm is in fact expected to make landfall. So there it is. There's the landfall date right there. It's expected to make landfall roughly Monday afternoon. And again, if that does happen, I will definitely give you all those updates. And because I will not be in college, I'm not in college in the afternoon, so I will be able to give you the latest updates and live stream the landfall of Tropical Storm Rick on the coast of Mexico. And then next week we'll also probably be doing live stream coverage of a potential tropical system in the Mediterranean Sea making landfall in either Italy or Greece. I think have the highest chances of getting hit by a storm in either Italy or Greece. That's just for that system. But for this system right here, what we're looking at right here, we're going to continue to see watches, and we can only have watches right now, but tonight, they're saying it's about 10 o'clock tonight, we could see this be upgraded to hurricane warnings and tropical storm warnings. Come over here, take a look at this. I don't know why it still says 17E because it's a tropical storm now. This actually shows us actually becoming a relatively powerful hurricane, relatively speaking. I mean, look at that, 959 millibars. I mean, it has an eye wall on the west side, very nice eye wall, nice and tight, close center circulation. These outer bands could produce tornadoes along the Mexican coastline. I'm curious to know what the wind speeds are. They're showing wind speeds could be as high as 100 knots. That's pretty strong. 103.8 knots. Oh, excuse me. 103.8 knots, 2 miles per hour. That's 120 miles per hour. So this would be a major Category 3 hurricane right here. And this would be very dangerous for obvious reasons. Okay. Because my own radar I have not shown. Looks photogenic. So that's something we are currently watching with this system right here, is the fact that, again, some models are showing some of the models are showing something else, but others are showing other things. I don't think this is going to be like a super powerful hurricane. I mean, God forbid. I mean, they're saying 103 knots right here. A lot of the models are showing this could become a more powerful hurricane. And once again, if that is in fact the case, okay, where's our storm at? And this shows it being a low-end hurricane, peaking in with winds of about 74 knots, about 85, 90 miles per hour, and then more of a landfall there with winds of about barely hurricane force. And you can see the landfall right there of about 47 knots. That's about almost 60 miles per hour. So, we'll have to see. It's going to be kind of hard to understand exactly how strong this is going to be upon landfall there. This is what the GFS is saying. Also 47.1 knots. Just look at the GFS. That is what I looked at. And the CMC or the CMC. Jeez Lord. It's not even showing a hurricane force, showing peaking in at around 60 miles per hour. If we look and see currently where we're at right now, it actually has winds of about 45 miles per hour. So this is way off already. So I mean 42 hours out and they still don't have it at where it should be at right now. So it is definitely off by quite a bit. Now, storm height, I do want to talk a little bit about storm surge and the possibility of what we could be seeing here with storm surge. I'm just going to go straight to the East Pacific, and then look at significant wave height. So again, I'm just going to move right in the future here, kind of show you what we're looking at here. That's over 20-foot waves. I mean, you can really see. I mean, we're talking. I mean, if we're seeing over 20-foot waves, I mean, we could see up to 10-foot storm surge. 5 to 10-foot storm surge is easy. 7 to 15. I mean, we can even see up to 15-foot storm surge, 10 to 15-foot storm surge. They're showing here of over 20 feet of 20-foot waves. So that would just be, the waves would just be absolutely just incredible. So again, we have to be dealing with storm surge. It's gonna be a huge problem for the Mexican coastline with this system. I mean, up to 10 or 15-foot waves. I mean, up to 15 to 20-foot waves. The storm surge will probably be 7, 8, maybe up to 10-foot storm surge. I don't think it's going to be anything anywhere near what we saw with Hurricane Ida make landfall there in Louisiana. I can't even think of the name. I can't even think of the town of where the Hurricane Ida made landfall. But where it made landfall, it's not going to be anything like Hurricane Ida. It's going to be much smaller. So you don't have to worry about this being a catastrophic hurricane at all. It's certainly something we're going to watch because it's still going to bring a lot of impacts and threats. Now quickly I want to move over and take a look at wherever the Mediterranean's at. There it is. Oh Lord, so there's that disturbance right there. So, I mean, thankfully, it doesn't show a very well-defined system. It just, it looks like another storm trying to develop there. I mean, we just have to see what happens with these storms because there's a possibility it develops, but there's also a possibility that nothing even happens. But as you can kind of see, the storm kind of just moves right on over northern parts of Africa, and then comes out in about 2 days. So roughly Sunday, we could see this storm moving out and over portions of into the Mediterranean Sea once it. So again, here's that area of low pressure that I'm talking about. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or concerns? So this is the current storm that we're looking at here in the Mediterranean Sea. It did look a lot better earlier today. It had a lot more convection. Thankfully, it does not look as good, so it does not have the highest chance of. It does not have a super high chance of, completely, per se, of being, falling. It does not have the biggest chance right now of consolidating and becoming a very powerful tropical system. So I'm hoping it's only a minimal tropical storm because most, if not all, models were showing this was not going to become a hurricane. Some of the most intense models were saying maybe 60 to 65 miles per hour. But you can really see it was very, very sheared by that upper level low, way up there over Sweden. And this cold front came through, really producing a lot of wind shear for portions for this area. So that storm tried to develop, but as you can see, it really just kind of fell apart and got ripped apart. It doesn't look very good, but this is what remains of that tropical disturbance there in the Mediterranean Sea. Now again, obviously, if this comes out to be something more, I'm going to give you updates on this tropical system every single day. Every single day. Several times a day, I'm going to try to give you an update on this tropical system in case, if this develops into something, we'll have to watch it. We'll have to see, does it develop? What does it do? How strong it's going to become? But there is the tropical disturbance right here. There it is. Let's take a look at other models, and so I can give y'all an idea of what we could be seeing with this potential to be a tropical storm that could be affecting portions of Italy and Greece, and possibly Albania and Montenegro. It depends on if it, where it goes. So that was a GFS. I want to know and take a look and see. This was 1800 UTC. Let's take a look at and see what the European model is saying. So in terms of air pressure, you can kind of see right here. Wait, so low pressure is blue. I actually need to change this to 850 millibar heightened wind. So give us an idea of the storm and how strong it's going to be. So literally can kind of see hardly anything. Maybe 35 to 40 mile per hour sustained winds. And this is according to the European model. However, the European model has been horrible this year. It has not been very accurate at all whatsoever. There's none of the models, so you can kind of see what looks like an a low level center of circulation, where winds are relatively weak. They may reach 40 to 45 miles per hour. This is in case if the CMC is in fact correct. We're going to do 12Z. So thankfully, a lot of the models aren't actually showing anything really developing. Right now, they're not really showing anything developing at all, which is very, very good because we don't want to know. We don't want anything to develop that's life-threatening. But if something does develop that's life-threatening, we want to make sure we inform y'all. This model is a little bit more aggressive, as you can clearly see with this. It has a much tighter closed low center of circulation. As you can see with maximum sustained winds looking to be, we're seeing stronger winds here. We're seeing, clearly not even tropical storm force winds, I was about to say, but but not even tropical storm force. So don't get me wrong, we don't want to see that. I mean, maybe right here we may see 35 knots, about 40 miles per hour, but we may just see, it may just, be something that is more visually appealing. Okay, it's more of a thing that we get to see in terms of satellite and what it looks like. So this is what the storm looks like right now. This is the latest satellite images of that tropical disturbance. I'm going to go to windy. And another area we can look at satellite imagery and show y'all what we're looking at with this system. Once it gets loaded. So, I mean, you can see there's a little bit of convection with what we're seeing with this system. As you can see, there's a little bit of convection in this area of the system, but there is not, like, a huge amount of convection. It's not just bubbling up like crazy, like we would see with the storm in the Gulf of Mexico, like with Katrina or with Ida or with Harvey, It's not just bubbling up and blowing up like crazy. Certainly nothing like that system we saw in September of 2020. It was horrible for the Italy and Greece region. It was just absolutely catastrophic. But this is what we're looking at with this system. Again, much smaller. Does not look very well developed at all whatsoever. It is very sheared right now, which essentially just means that there's a lot of upper level winds cutting across it, not allowing the storm to rapidly intensify or strengthen in any way, shape, or form. Which, once again, that is a good thing. We don't want these storms to rapidly intensify, go through any kind of intensification. Now, we can see where there's a little bit of a bump in the atmosphere. Right here, you can kind of see winds kind of trail this direction, and it's like a little bump in the atmosphere. And that kind of shows that's a disturbance. That's a wave. That's literally a wave in the atmosphere. A bump in the atmosphere. A tropical wave. But if we ever see that tropical wave get a closed low, there's a chance that it may be, designated as a storm. And it may be named. A lot of the models are showing, if you saw earlier when I was showing you the models, all the isobars had at least a closed low, which means the isobar started at one point, went all the way around the low pressure, and connected. When you have a connected isobar, that means there's a closed low, and you can have a tropical depression or a tropical storm at that point. But with this system, I'm going to show you what we're looking at right now. With the system, it is not a closed low, it's a bump in the atmosphere. When you see a bump in the atmosphere, that's usually, this is a system we're going to have to watch. This system it's causing a bump in the atmosphere, and there's a chance that it could, later down in its life, try to create some subtropical or fully tropical characteristics. And if that does happen, we will definitely keep you updated. Alright, so I'm gonna turn the rain off so it's a little bit easier to see. Okay, so here's the low level center of circulation. So you can kind of see here, winds kind of come in like this, and then they rapidly move around. So you see how that's like a wave? So you have a wave like that. That is what we call a bump in the atmosphere. I don't think pink was a very good color to use. Y'all can't hardly even see it. But I use yellow. Gosh dang it, I can't even trace. Okay, that's still pretty bad, but as you can kind of see, it's just, all it is just a little bump in the atmosphere. Now you do have winds. Now I'm going to talk about how winds kind of move around, and I'm going to kind of draw some arrows, not to confuse y'all, but to kind of give you an idea of the direction of the wind sphere, right? We do have winds coming in from the south, coming in from the north, but it's a very sheer tropical system. It's not even tropical, it's just a tropical wave. It's a very sheer tropical wave, and if this begins to consolidate, become more developed, we could be seeing this gain tropical characteristics, and if we see winds moving all the way around 360, that is when it will become either tropical depression or a tropical storm. So again, you do have winds. So if this is the low, you do have winds coming in this direction, and this direction. So again, you do have winds kind of coming like this. So it's almost like you can kind of see that. So you see how that's like a wave? Again, that is a tropical wave. All right? That is a tropical wave. You have a bump in the atmosphere. All right? You got a little speed bump in the atmosphere. And again, I cannot say this enough times. This does not mean this is a tropical storm. This does not mean this is a hurricane. This does not mean anything. It just means it's an area of disturbed weather. But notice how all the cloudiness is situated all over here, and if the low pressure system is right here, that must mean there's something going on, and that's wind shear. Wind shear has sheared this to where all the cloudiness is away, and it just kind of makes the whole storm a lot weaker. So there's upper level winds blowing across the system like so, not allowing there to be a lot of convection, and not allowing the storm to, it can go through a lot of convection and intensify. I'm going to look for any kind of comments, questions, or concerns. But for Rick, do you think it will top out as a Cat 3? Because I think it will top out as a Cat 2 or 3. I don't think it'll top out as a Cat 3. I do think it could become a Category 2 hurricane with winds of 100 miles an hour. Category 3, I just don't think that's going to happen. There's a possibility. Always a possibility, but... medical. I'm not going to sound med, I'm like medical. No, Mediterranean tropical storms are rare, though. I'm shocked if this is the 66th medical... I keep saying medical. Mediterranean tropical storm if it forms. Good Lord, that's a lot. But, it really is just... It's pretty incredible to see this, so... Again, that's kind of what I wanted to talk about is there's just... You can even see it up here. There's a little bump in the atmosphere. So you have winds blowing this direction. You got winds blowing this direction. There's winds all over the place. It's pretty incredible. But again, once again, the low level center of circulation is right here. So just so you have an idea, that is currently where the LLC is. The low level circulation is currently situated at. I'm going to just do the past 3 hours. So this is just the past 3 hours. So once again, there's a lot of wind shear blowing across, so the storm isn't able to develop. But I do think that once this storm begins once the storm gets more organized, we could see this become something more of concern. Does anyone have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding this tropical system in the Mediterranean Sea? Okay, so, if this does become a tropical storm, the biggest impacts with this will be rain. No matter what. No matter where it's at, no matter where on the planet it's at, the biggest threat from any tropical cyclone, even if it's a tropical cyclone-like system, the biggest threat's going to be rain. Heavy rain, flooding, mudslides, landslides. You're obviously going to have some storm surge. You're going to have some wind. There may be winds 35 to 40 miles. It may have only winds of 35 to 40 miles an hour, with winds possibly gusting 45 to 50 miles per hour. So every once in a while, there's a possibility you could have a wind gust of as high as 50 miles per hour. So it's certainly a problem. Wind-wise, there's going to be, it's going to be a problem, but it's not going to be anything super crazy, super huge, or anything like that. Does anyone have any other comments, questions, or concerns? Alright, well, please feel free to like the video, and that's it for today, guys. As always, stay safe out there. We'll keep you guys updated with any kind of tropical system, no matter if it's Rick or something in the Mediterranean or anything else. All that being said, have a wonderful rest of your evening, and my next update will come out at 10 p.m. Central Time. All that being said, peace out.